Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is Station. We are ready for the event.
NBC Today Show. This is Mission Control Houston. Please call Station for a voice check.
Hey.
Broker with the Today Show. How do you hear me?
We've got you loud and clear.
Hey, guys. Are you guys hearing our talent?
Excellent. Well, thanks so much. Nick and Christina, thanks so much for joining us on this momentous morning. Neither one of you were alive when this happened. What does this mean to you, this 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission?
Well, you know, we're very fortunate to be part of the space program and up here at this time. For me, it makes me feel connected to the legacy of just successful exploration that the first pioneers, the trail that they blazed. You feel a connectedness. Just a few minutes ago, I was looking out the cupola, our window to the world below, and watching the moon rise over the Earth. And that perspective of looking at the moon and seeing the Earth between, you know, us up here in the station and the moon just puts it all in perspective, how big of an accomplishment they were able to achieve 50 years ago.
Christina, what does this mean to you, to be up there in space on the morning of this 50th anniversary?
Well, it is certainly an honor, and as Nick said, it makes us feel connected to that amazing event that changed history 50 years ago. And also, I see it as an inspirational event. I see the anniversary as a time when we can reflect on what we can accomplish when we come together to achieve great things, and as when we work as a team can accomplish. They say that over 400,000 people worked to get that first human on the moon, and knowing that when we come together, we can accomplish great things, and that the bigger the challenge, the bigger the reward. And allowing those things to inspire me to bring my best every day and to appreciate the teams that I get to be a part of. That's kind of how I look at this amazing anniversary.
Christina, you're about to set a record for the longest time in space for a woman. Do you think about the idea that there are young girls watching you who are going to say, I want to do that?
I do think about that every day. I think about the idea that it can inspire the next generation of explorers. And I think about how people paved the way for me to be here doing what I'm doing. I like to think of the record as a way to remind me every day to bring my best, because it's not the total number of days you're up here, but it's what you do with each of those days. It's going to be an amazing opportunity for science to look at how the human body adapts to microgravity to inform our next missions going deeper into space and onto Mars. And I like to think that hopefully this record will be exceeded as quickly as possible, because that means we're continuing to push those boundaries.
Guys, what have you learned spending this time in space? What perspective has it given you?
So when you look down at the Earth from 250 miles above, it seems familiar, but it also seems very different. And a lot of the things that we would define the land by, borders and cities, they can tend to fade into the background. And you start to see the Earth for the magnificent place that it is. And you realize that, you know, up here on the space station, we've been continually operating the space station for 2 decades now. And the reason we've been able to do that is because we've drawn upon the strength of the world. We've got an international, team that every day is working to maintain this, and our strength through cooperation is what's enabled us to sustain. And so I think that's one of the things I'm going to take away from this, is just the strength when we work together, the things that we can accomplish. And that's going to be a bright future if we can continue to maintain that collaboration and cooperation as we push further into the solar system.
Nick and Christina, thank you so much. And as we go, in honor of the Apollo 11 moon mission, could you possibly show us your best moonwalk?
We will do our best. Thank you. It's been wonderful speaking with you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the NBC portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from CBS. Stand by for a voice check from CBS.
Station, this is Tony DeCopel with CBS This Morning. How do you hear me?
Tony, we have you loud and clear. Welcome to the International Space Station.
Tony DeCopel with CBS This Morning. Thank you very much. So I'll do the intro, right?
Stand by.
All right.
Here we go. In. 3, 2.
And I'm joined now by astronauts Nick Hague and Christina Koch. They are aboard the International Space Station. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Welcome to the International Space Station.
I'm curious. Thank you very much. It looks like you guys have been having some fun this morning. I'm seeing you. Hold on.
We're going to start again. There is a delay, but you're hearing, so you have to just wait for them.
Okay.
Like
Wait
5 or
every.
6 seconds long. So you got to wait for them to answer. We'll fix it pretty close.
Okay.
They can tighten it up.
All right, guys. We're going to start again.
All right, stand by. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2.
And I'm joined now by astronauts Nick Hague and Christina Koch. They are right now about 250 miles straight up aboard the International Space Station. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Tony. It's a pleasure to be with you.
It looks like you've been having some fun this morning. I've been watching flips and turns, a lot of fun in anti-gravity. I guess my first question is, here we are 50 years from the Apollo 11 mission. As you twirl and orbit in space, what does it mean to you?
I think what it means to us is a great inspirational moment to think back to what the teams were able to accomplish when they really put their minds to something and they took on a challenge that was so huge that they knew it would alter the course of history. We feel connected to that event because we're so honored to be a part of the space program today and to continue their legacy. We're in a period now where we're able to explore the frontiers of science and uncover and unlock amazing secrets that help to benefit life on Earth. So feeling that connection and that inspiration is really what it means to us today.
Nick, you've had the experience of a pretty hairy near abort after launch in a rocket. In fact, it was a full abort. With that in mind, can you help us understand what the Apollo 11 astronauts must have been thinking as they prepared for launch 50 years ago this morning?
You know, I think that every person that's strapped themselves into a rocket thinks the same things. You've spent many years training for that moment to try to do everything perfect and to, you know, if something doesn't work right with the system, to figure out how to work around it. And that's what we train for. And there's a massive team on the ground that prepares you for that. So that's what gives you the confidence going in, knowing that you've got this gigantic team of, 100,000 or hundreds of thousands of people that are supporting you and making it all possible, and that they're as committed to making it a successful mission as you are. And so the second time I got into the rocket, I was just as confident as the first time I got into the rocket, and it's because of that team.
And you think the Apollo 11 astronauts felt the same way?
Absolutely. You wouldn't strap into a rocket if you weren't sure that you were going to be successful. And The things that lie in front of you may seem seemingly impossible or very difficult challenges, but just like everyone encounters during life, you have to face those challenges head on and be persistent and committed and not give up in the face of adversity. So I can guarantee you they were as committed to being successful as we are every day up here, and as explorers continue in the future, we'll continue that tradition.
Hey, Christina, you've said that being in space and seeing the perspective of the Earth from above, the so-called overview effect, has reminded you that we are one on this planet. Can you talk a bit about how one's perspective changes being in space and what it might mean if everybody got that perspective?
You're exactly right. The perspective of looking down on the Earth from here is a big reminder that as humans, we share the most fundamental aspects of who we are, and that we're way more alike than we are different, and that those differences are just as exciting, and they often arise from just the amazing geographical differences of where we're from on this wonderful planet. I think that the Apollo astronauts had an even more amazing perspective of Earth. The famous photograph of Earthrise, Earth taken from the moon, really showed us that we are on one planet, and that that planet is what sustains us all and what we have in common. And I think that if everyone had the opportunity to see that, we would certainly know that deep down that we are all the same, and that we can accomplish the best things and the greatest things when we work together as humans.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the CBS portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from ABC at 10:30 GMT. station, this is Houston ACR. Please stand by for a voice check from ABC.
A station, this is Kiki Palmer at Good Morning America. Do you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. I'm so excited to be talking to you. It's really freaking me out in the most beautiful way to see you guys are floating and really right now at the International Space Station. What time is it there? Because it's very early here, but I couldn't miss this call. So I want to know, is the timing the same in space?
Yeah, so we use the Greenwich Mean Time, and it's because we have control stations or control centers all over the globe. It's an international space station, so control centers in Japan, in Germany, in Russia, in Canada, and as well as in the United States. So we all have to sync our clocks to one clock. So right now, it's 10:30 in the morning on the space station.
Oh, wow. Wow. It's 10:30. Okay, so you guys that's very cool. This is all quite cool and interesting to me. Well, first of all, I got so excited I didn't even, really properly say hello. Hello, Nick, and hello, Christina. So this is getting ready to be the 50th anniversary of the man landing on the moon. And we're gearing up now for the first woman to land on the moon. How do you guys kind of feel about that, just being here, having been astronauts? How does that make you feel? What's the excitement around that?
And welcome aboard to you. It's great to be speaking with you this morning. We are so excited to be on board and in space on this awesome anniversary of the 50th anniversary of the first human on the moon. And it is indeed an exciting time because we're looking to land the first woman and the next man on the moon in 2024. So to be a part of the program when we are recommitting to that spirit of exploration that first drove the teams to accomplish landing on the moon 50 years ago, it's just an inspiring moment. It makes us feel connected to those that paved the way for us to be here today. And we're so excited that the accomplishments of women in the program are being more recognized now. Despite the odds, women did contribute to that first landing on the moon. But now, not only are we seeing more of it, but we're recognizing it. And we have learned that the best way to success is to incorporate the talents, contributions, innovations, and ideas of all Americans, and to make sure that everyone who has a dream to explore can fulfill that dream.
Yeah, and speaking of accomplished women, you were pretty accomplished yourself, Christina, and them talking about having the first woman walk on the moon. Would you be up to that task? That mic is so cool. That mic is so
It's humbling even to hear that question posed. And of course, all astronauts are trained to be ready for any assignment that comes our way. And we tackle each assignment with hard work and dedication and wanting to represent the entire country or world that is behind the mission. So of course, any of us would be glad to be that person. And I think for me, I'm just honored and humbled to know that I will know that person will be a part of the cadre that I'm also a part of, and to know that I've trained with them. But no matter who is chosen for that mission, we can say with certainty it will be the best person for the job, and someone who is well prepared, and someone who is incredibly capable of carrying the dreams of everyone along with them as we explore.
Yes, I love that. So I was just in Houston at the Johnson Space Center, where I got to really, see what NASA does and learn about, not just what the astronauts do, but all the people that are behind the support system that creates the space station, that, create the suits and all this other really cool stuff. But I still found myself wondering, how is it in space? How do you pass the time? It must be a total new world up there, and how does it affect you in the way you think about Earth?
Well, you're right. The space program is a gigantic team. And that team on the ground, numbering in, close to 100,000, that team of people keeps us busy every day. 7:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night, we're working up here, and we're working to maintain this laboratory. It's been up here for a couple decades now, but we're also working to perform experiments and collect scientific data, because that's the mission of the space station, is to learn more. We're trying to learn more about the universe around us. We're trying to learn more about ourselves. Part of that is for the benefit of people on the ground, to come up with new materials, new drugs, and just increase our understanding of how to better take care of the planet and ourselves. And part of it is to test out some of the hardware that's going to take us back to the moon. And so we keep busy every day. In terms of time flying by, it sure does up here. And when we can steal away a couple minutes, staring out the window and looking down at the Earth is a great way to reflect on how unique an opportunity it is.
I truly want to know, because they kept saying when I was down at NASA that, there are no boundaries there, because the people, there that are part of what you guys do, you guys really get to see things that, I wish we all got to see. So the first time, that you saw space and you realized I'm no longer on Earth, is there a word that you can describe that it made you feel? That blows my mind.
I will never forget that moment. Yes, it was mind-blowing, and I'll never forget that moment. For me, it came when I was still in the Soyuz rocket before I ever got to the space station. I looked out the window, and even though I should have known I would see Earth out there, which I did know I would, it still blew my mind, and I exclaimed, "Oh my word." I think I scared Nick and Alexi a little bit because they thought maybe I was seeing something going wrong, and I had to reassure them, "Oh no, everything's okay. It's just Earth." And it's amazing.
Oh, my goodness. I know you guys have to go, and I could talk to you forever, but I truly want to thank you, Christina. I want to thank you, Nick, for your time. I appreciate you guys for all the science that you're doing up there, and also hopefully you guys are also enjoying, which it sounds like you are. But I appreciate you, and thank you for being our true heroes.
Thank you. It was a pleasure speaking with you today.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the ABC portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from NPR.
I like how they... Okay. This is Dave Pignanelli with NPR. How do you hear me?
Dave, we've got you loud and clear. Welcome to International Space Station.
Thank you very much. I want to jump right in and just ask you, Apollo11 was such an inspiration for so many of us that were alive at the time. Obviously, your generation. I don't believe you were both alive 50 years ago. So, Christina, let me talk first with you. Through what lens do you view the first moon landing?
I think I would say through two different lenses. One, through the generation that was alive when it happened and the things that they've told me about what it meant to them. For me, that includes my parents. I've talked to both of them about that moment, and they both say that it was life-changing. Interestingly, my father was actually in Vietnam at the time, and so the historical perspective that offers is a really interesting one to remember. It was such a dynamic time for the world, but we still came together to accomplish something great. And the other lens I view it with would be my own, as someone who's participating in the space program and has the great privilege and honor of continuing to contribute to the legacy that the heroes of that time put before us and the teamwork that they demonstrated, and to be continuing that the reminder and inspiration that it affords us to bring our best to every day, and to know that those people that paved the way for us to be here today means that we have to continue the tradition and hopefully continue the inspiration for the future space explorers that are out there.
Wow, thanks. Nick, how about you?
So Christina mentioned their legacy and what a legacy those pioneers have left us. We're continuing to ride that wave of energy and excitement for exploration and discovery that they started 50 years ago. As they went to the moon, we're now looking to go back to the moon in 5 years, and you think about the course that they started us down, and as we have come to the space station and been here for about 20 years now, working together collaboratively with the international community, we've learned a lot more. And so now when we try to make our next step back to the moon, and take the things that we've learned here on the space station, it just sets us up for an even a brighter future, a chance to go back to the moon and stay.
And would either of you two want to be on that mission in 5 years or so?
I think, absolutely. Every astronaut that is in the astronaut corps has signed up to be assigned to space missions. And, we don't necessarily get to choose which ones we're assigned to, but when we're assigned, we're training. Even when we're not assigned, we're training so that we can fly successfully. So I think we're all ready to go back. And, regardless of what role you end up serving, there are ways to contribute, and necessary, vital ways to contribute. You think back to the symbology of that first, lunar landing. There were 3 people on that mission. Only 2 of them set foot on the moon, but all 3 were critical to making that mission successful. And so we all serve in the roles that we're assigned, and look forward to supporting whoever's going to be that first person to take that next step back on the moon.
Christina, do you want to go?
I echo what Nick said. I think we are all ready for any mission that comes our way. That's part of our job, is to be ready and to be well trained, and to rely on the awesome training that our support teams and trainers provide for us. Of course, it would be my honor to be that person, but it would be just as much of my honor to be someone playing a supporting role to make that mission happen and to enable it in the best way that I can.
Okay, finally, let me ask you, the moon landing launches, the Apollo program was all over the TV, newspapers, the media at the time. How do you get what you're doing on the International Space Station, which doesn't get nearly the kind of coverage that the Apollo program got, or even the shuttle program got? How do you get word out and get interest in what you're doing up aboard ISS?
That is a great question, and it is an important part of what we're doing up here, because sharing the amazing work we're doing is as important as the work we are doing, and bringing that science back home, the benefits that what we're doing up here have for the Earth, and making sure we communicate that is important. We often have PAO events, public affairs events, where we get to share that with news outlets. We share it on a personal level and on an agency level through social media and through other avenues like that. And then also we educate ourselves about the science and the background of everything that we're doing and what effects it has down the road on Earth to make life on Earth better. So in addition to the technical briefings and the technical things about what we're doing that we share, we also like to share the inspirational side of it, to make sure that we're reaching students, to make sure that they know that there's awesome things they can accomplish if they choose a career in a technological field, engineering, math, science, and to make sure that we bring home all of the fruits of the amazing work that we're doing, both to inspire and to inform.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate the time.
You're very welcome. It was a pleasure speaking with you today.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants from NBC, CBS, ABC, and NPR. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.